Alright, so we're heading back into Vancouver to do some more location shooting today. This is day 4 of our trip.
I believe so.
We're about ready to cross over 7th Avenue and heading out onto the bridge over here. We were just watching Innocent Man the other night and enjoying all the places that we'd already seen, and I just found this one. This bridge is when Richie is driving the T-Bird, and they are leaving the city of Vancouver and heading out to Steveston. This is the bridge that him and Duncan are driving over. So yeah, one more bonus location. Gotta say, this is a really pretty town. I don't think I'd want to live here. It makes me feel a little claustrophobic. And Shan kind of feels the same way.
Yeah, the buildings are very close together, although the architecture is beautiful.
The architecture is really cool. Oh, there's the Science Dome.
Ooh.
Another cool location. We'll be going there later.
In 500 meters, turn right onto Campy Street.
Not today, though. That's later in the day, in the trip. But yeah, these buildings are really, really cool looking. Some of them, it's almost like a twisty thing where they're not completely
straight up and down.
Straight up and down. Like it almost kind of looks like they're gonna fall over or something.
One of them looked like a bike, like one of the half pipes on its side. The building did. It was weird. It like caved inward with the roundedness. It was crazy.
Not sure how much of that we're going to be filming, but yeah, it is very interesting. And not only is this a big town, but the crime rate is like non-existent. So far, we've seen like a total of 5 homeless people. In Portland, you see 5 homeless people in about 5 seconds. We've spent 4 days here at this point, and we've seen 5. And the majority of them were last night in the alleyway.
After a certain hour.
This is a pretty freaking clean town.
Take the next right onto Campy Street.
If you do like big cities without the scummy element, this is a pretty awesome place.
Yes.
So we are now outside Timber Train Coffee Roasters. This is Joe's Bookstore from Season 2, The Watchers. Through the window, you can see the balcony that Joe sits at when Duncan walks in the front door. Now it's just a little coffee shop, so just because we have to, we're going to go in there and order something. Because, I mean, you have to eat at Joe's while you're here in town.
Yeah, of course.
And, let's see, is it this building?
Which was the 318? Is it or?
What was the address? Oh, no, 328. 328 was the address. So it's this one. When Duncan is being surveyed with the laser surveillance equipment, it's from this building right here in the upper window. So this actually is right across the street from Joe's. So yeah, we're going to go into Joe's real quick, and Shan-Chan's going to get a cup of coffee, and then we'll continue our adventure. Shan-Chan's all dressed up as Tessa today. This is one of the outfits she's probably going to be wearing for our upcoming film. And she just got a dark chocolate mocha from Joe's. And here's the stairwell back here. This is employees only up here, so we cannot sit up there today. But yeah, nice, cute little coffee shop, formerly known as Joe's Bookstore. So this is the alley behind Joe's that goes for about 3 or 4 blocks. It's known as Blood Alley. If you go a little bit further down the alley begins behind Joe's Bookstore. This is about 1 block over. And this is the area where Joe and Duncan talk for the first time after meeting. They walk down this alley and they converse. Right behind us is the antique store. So we're going to head over there here in just a minute. Alright, I apologize for the noise. This is the area that the antique store is in. the building behind it is under some serious construction, so we got a whole lot of noise going on. But right here is the entrance to the antique store. There never was an antique store here. It was just an artificial front. Now, the inside of it appears to be some kind of clothing store. Shan and I might go in there just to check it out, although it's got nothing to do with the show, really.
No, they only use the front for the outside.
The area where Tessa parked her car is actually over here. You can see the old steps right here in the ground. This used to be Blood Alley Square. Over here in this area, whole lot of stuff happened over here. Lots of shenanigans always happened out in front of the antique store. Rebecca beat the crap out of that guy right before she walked in and started talking about Reinhardt's saber. The Watchers staked out this area where Richie popped their car tires and backed the moving van into them. All sorts of stuff like that. All happened right here.
The alley where we think that Joe and...
Yeah, and right over here is where we just were, where Joe and Duncan were walking. Just a little bit further down.
We're pretty sure.
But yeah, I gotta say I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I knew that this was not an actual antique store, but to have such an iconic location from the Highlander series reduced to this, it just feels a little disheartening. But yeah, this is where it is in Blood Alley Square if you want to come check it out. So we're here on the corner of Cambie and Water, downtown. And anybody who's seen the show, I don't even need to tell you what this building is. This is Desalvo's Martial Arts. Looks like it's a combination of a whole bunch of things now. Offices, stores. Looks like we can actually go in. Some clothing store called The Latest Scoop. Oh, while we're out here, the antique store, that clothing store inside, it was called COS. And you could buy a turtleneck sweater in there for $140. Such a bargain.
Or a suede feeling button-up shirt for $500.
Yeah, so I'm not expecting that store to be there for very long, but that's what's there right now as of November 2021.
You never know.
So we are going to try and find the staircase for this building. I'm guessing it's around back here, but it's raining pretty hard, so I thought I'd stop in this covered area and do a little bit of shooting so you guys can see what we're up to here. Okay, so as I suspected, back behind Desalva's Martial Arts is the iconic staircase. And there is the door right there. Not sure we can go in there, but this guy just came out of it, so we'll see if we can, but I doubt it. But yeah, ton of iconic scenes from the film, from the TV series take place here. This is just really cool. I mean, this is like one of the... This shot right here is in like half the episodes. One of the most iconic buildings from the show, and we're standing right in front of it. It's pretty freaking cool. All right, we're out in front of Victory Square here. This is from Season 5, Episode 1, Prophecy, where Duncan and Cassandra are hiding from the cops. We'll get this from a couple of different angles here, but I just wanted to film the front of it real quick. And where are we? We're on the corner of Cambie and Hastings, if you're trying to find this place. Cambie and Hastings, and it's called Victory Square.
So you can see it.
So we are now standing where Duncan and Cassandra were standing, in this little circular area right here. It looks like all of this lighting...
They were standing right there.
And the rails and all of that has been added since the show was made. Here's the picture we're going off of. So... And
you can see the orange building right there. And that gray building that says We Remember.
That building and that building are both in the shot.
Yep.
But yeah, all these poles and everything...
We're not there.
No.
And those railings are where the concrete pillars are on each side of them. That's where the railings are right there. So they were standing right here, it looks like. Maybe. Well, it's maybe over there. Because I don't see anywhere else. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Yep.
So yeah,
That's
pretty
it.
cool monument though. All right, off to the next location. Okay, so here we are outside of Canada Place. This is the opening scene from season 1, Revenge is Sweet. Right out here at the end, right there is where Duncan and Reinhardt have their duel. And then Duncan goes down the stairs and celebrates the Happy New Year of 1989 with Tessa. Right in that area right there. Now, how they got this shot, I'm not sure, because this is all water out here. So I am guessing that they had a relatively tall boat right out here in the harbor, and that somebody was just at the top of the boat and shot that from across the river. We are going to get closer if we can. If not, this might be the only shot that I get of it. We have seen this a couple times before on this trip while we're crossing bridges and such, so I might be able to get a better shot of this later. There's also supposed to be a super awesome ride over here called Flying Over Canada, which is basically a soaring over Canada ride, like soaring over California in Disneyland, and it's supposed to be 10 minutes long. And Shan and I are going to go on it. So stay tuned. Alright, we just got off the Fly Over Canada ride, and based on the footage, it looks like Duncan and Reinhardt's battle takes place on the roof of Fly Over Canada. I am guessing that was not here 30 years ago, because I don't think that had that kind of technology, so I'm guessing there was something else here before that. I'm going to try and get a little bit more footage from that area, because I think I found a couple of other locations that were used in that shot. But thoughts on Fly Over Canada. It was very, very similar to Soaring Over California. The music was good, but it wasn't Jerry Goldsmith. There is actually 2 different versions of the ride. One is Fly Over Canada, and one changes every couple of months. The one they had while we were up here was the Wild Wild West. Shan and I both actually liked that one much, much better. The movement seemed to be a little bit more fluent. The scenery was a little bit better, and it did a barrel roll with an F-14 Tomcat, which was awesome. Soarin' doesn't do barrel rolls. I didn't even know that ride did that at all, but the footage they put in there was pretty freaking cool. It is a little expensive to ride. It's about $25 a pop per person, but you do get a discount if you do both versions. So basically, Shannon and I just coughed up about $100. We went on both versions and got our pictures from both times through.
It's just a background with you standing, you know, in front of the background for the pictures.
Yep. And they just put you on a green screen and give you a couple of different backgrounds. But you know, once in a lifetime thing. I would not expect us to probably ever go on this ride again in the course of our lifetime, unless we come up here without the rest of the Highlander group again, which we might do at some point, but it would be quite a ways down the road. Anyway, Canada Place, you can basically walk all the way around it and get some pretty incredible footage. Unfortunately, it's rainy and foggy and gross right now, so you really can't see what I'm seeing here. So let me just zoom in a little bit. And we got the sulfur piles over there again. And then this is Stanley Park over here, where we were yesterday. This little island right here. And we will be going back there to hit at least one more location from the Return of Amanda, just not today. So yeah, I'm going to knock out a couple more shots from Canada Place, and then we'll be moving along. So after watching the scene again, and some further exploration, Chan and I have determined that the original fight basically took place right above Soaring Over Canada. So we are guessing that none of this was here at the time that this was originally filmed. Because from what we've seen, this dome up here is in the shot. But there's more stuff up there that is no longer here. So we're pretty sure he fights Reinhardt up there, throws him over the railing, comes down a set of stairs here that is no longer here, and then comes down this set of stairs over here.
Which
because
didn't
it does
have this overhang.
Yeah,
on top.
the overhang was not here at the time. But this is the only section of the area that we can find that actually has a double staircase. And it clearly shows Duncan going down a double staircase. So we're thinking he walks down here.
Goes around the...
Pretty sure he stashes the sword over here in a boxed bush that obviously isn't here anymore. Mm-hmm. Walks down these stairs. And then goes around the corner to this area where Tessa is waiting for him for the New Year's Eve party. And I'm pretty sure I think he walks through that door right there.
Yeah, I think so.
And then it shows her.
These overhangs weren't there because it's these windows right here, I think. Mm-hmm. So this overhang.
And then it shows them in the window right here celebrating.
That's what it looks like to us. That's what we're kind of thinking.
Based on what we've seen. But yeah, I mean, Flyover Canada is a pretty high-tech ride, and we definitely did not have this technology 30 years ago. So I'm guessing that this whole area over here has been modified at some point. But anyway, you can come out to Canada Place and check it out for yourself. Definitely go on the ride if you're out here, because it was pretty cool.
Place and throw some if you can.
Okay, so we're outside the Vancouver Art Gallery. The front section of it was used in the season 3 episode called The Revolutionary. Shan and I were actually planning on going in. Supposedly it was like $25 to get into the art gallery or whatever. We're kind of thinking we're not going to be able to get in. The whole area is fenced off around it. It seems like there's a ton of construction going on. I'm guessing they are renovating the place, but we should be able to at least get a shot of the front. So that's where we're headed next. Alright, so this is the front of the Vancouver Art Gallery. You probably recognize those steps from where Myra confronts Paul Caros, I think his name was, Caros, in the Revolutionary episode. But yeah, it's a spectacular view, but clearly they've got a lift going on up there and a whole bunch of stuff going on down here. So if it is open, I'm guessing there's another door someplace. So we will find out. Otherwise, this is going to be it for this location. Okay, so we're outside of 989 Nelson Street. And this is the Diamond Mart from the opening scene of The Road Not Taken, where Richie's friend Gary goes nuts and gets into a fight with the police and then dies. Basically right on the steps here in front of us is where Gary croaked. None of these trees were here in that scene, so we got a little confused as to which side of the building the scene might have been filmed on, but it is definitely here. You can tell by the tiles and that plant in the window there. It's exactly the same plant.
Yep.
After like 30 years, it's still the same plant.
Well, the tree's in the way. Move over a little bit to show the whole plant right there.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, you can see that plant just like that.
Yep. And the tile has also not changed, and that is a very, very distinct tile pattern.
Yes.
You don't really notice it when you're watching the show, but now that we're here in person, it's actually really pretty. We like it. All right, on to the next location. So, same building. Right over there is where Gary croaked. Right over here is where Annie Devlin's husband croaks. in the episode Eye for an Eye, where Richie grabs the machine pistol and Annie's discharging a whole bunch of rounds and her husband dies. This happened right here in front of the same building. One more bonus location. For the record, that church behind it is pretty cool looking. And that one there. And this one over here. They've got some buildings with some really cool architecture here. Anyway, on to the next location. Okay, we are currently in Robson Square. I actually could not find an address for this, so I had to type in the coordinates, but we were able to find it. This was a location for the season 3 episode called Shadows, where Duncan and Anne go to an art exhibit put on by John Garrick. If you look closely at the scene, you can actually see the museum. This is the art museum we were going to, or this is the back of it, but it's the same place. You can see that in the background. You can see this weird little multicolored sculpture in the background. And as Duncan and Garrick are talking, you can see this and these buildings also in the background of that scene. So we are basically standing right now exactly where they were standing, which is pretty freaking sweet. They've got a skate park down here, which is kind of cool looking. It's like a domed skating area. But I thought that was kind of neat. We haven't actually gone down there yet, but we will, because apparently the museum is open. So we're going to go check that out here in just a minute. This is probably going to be our last stop for the day, because we're losing daylight, and I'm guessing by the time we get out of the museum it's going to be dark. But yeah, I would call this another productive day. I will film some stuff inside the museum if I can. Obviously nothing inside the museum was used for any of the episodes. But if you want to visit, you know, might not be bad to...
If they allow taping in the museum or pictures.
Yeah, they may or may not.
They might not, because then that kind of defeats coming to the museum.
But yeah, if they do, I will shoot a little bit of video for you. Okay, so we're still at Robson Square, and we found one more quick location. As Duncan and Anne are leaving the art exhibit, and Duncan is carrying the sculpture that Garrett gave him, they are walking right along here. You can actually see this building and this concrete over here in that shot. And then they walk along here to Duncan's T-Bird. One of my only regrets is that I do not have my T-Bird for this trip. It's still in the shop, but someday. His car would have been parked right here along the street.
Good. And so they loaded it right here.
Yep.
And then he turns.
And he turns around and sees the shadow.
Up there.
Right there.
And this has
behind
the
that tree.
waterfall.
Yeah, the water is turned off right now, so unfortunately we don't get the waterfall.
He jumps from there to there.
But yeah, he's right here. And then they have their fight pretty much right where
here.
Shan and I are standing.
Yep.
Right in this area.
And Anne's over there looking at him.
Yep. And then of course Duncan pulls his sword out of the back of the T-Bird over here and walks over here to engage. And right in this area is where they have their sword fight.
He's swinging it wildly at nothing right there.
Yep. Pretty cool. For those that don't know, F. Braun McCash, the sword master for the show, for the last half of it, I think he did season 3 through season 5, I think. Don't quote me on that. I know Bob Anderson did the first couple of seasons. But F. Braun McCash did the rest. And he played the Shadow in this episode.
Ooh.
So, juicy little tidbit for those that didn't know that. Okay, moving on. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to film in here or not, so I'm just going to make this brief. But yeah, very, very fancy art exhibit stuff. Looks like the first floor, for the time being anyway, is dedicated to Yoko Ono, which got Shan-Chan's pretty excited. Apparently she's a big fan. But yeah, it's about $25 to get in, so it ain't cheap. But it definitely feels like we're in a very high-end art exhibit, which seems like something that Duncan and Tessa would attend. So it is very Highlander-ish. But yeah, we're gonna enjoy ourselves here and hit you up again later. So we're on our way back to the car. We just spent, I don't know, an hour and a half inside the art gallery that cost us $50. I have never been one to understand high-end art or what makes it high-end art, but clearly that place has just decided, yes, this is high-end art and we're going to put whatever we want in here.
It's impressionism and expressionary art.
So what do you think of the Yoko Ono work, honey?
Well, since I already kind of knew what kind of work she did, I was expecting it. It's what I expected, and I'm glad that I saw it.
Oh, good for you. My take on it, it was absolutely ridiculous. There was a board that you were able to pound nails into. There was a video that was literally an hour and a half long that showed nothing but 365 people's bare asses.
Moving
for an hour and a half. There was another video of a fly crawling around a naked woman and like crawling through the hairs on her hoo-hoo. It was absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, the place was pretty much full of that stuff. And we paid $50 to get in there.
How was just Yoko Ono?
So
the other stuff was
it was also weird. So if you're into that crazy artwork or whatever, more power to you, go in there. But it is not for me.
The stuff that wasn't Yoko's, I was not into.
It made me miss Tessa's work. And quite frankly, Shan-Chan is a pretty good artist. And her stuff was better than most of the stuff that was in there. So, whatever. We will not be going back there. The outside of the building looked cool. That's pretty much where it stops for me. So we're on our way back to the car. And we just happened to cross Canada Place here. And this thing is absolutely gorgeous when it's lit up at night. Really wish we could get a better view of it, but unless you're out on the water or over a bridge or something from the land, this is about as good as it gets. But that's really, really pretty. So I just wanted to add it to the video real quick. So right under our nose was another shooting location. Our car is actually right over there in the parking garage. But this is the corner of Water and Cordova, which is actually right next to Joe's Coffee Shop as well, which is right down that street. Anyway, this is the final scene of the opening episode of Season 2 called The Watchers, where Richie's commenting about the Watchers and not being able to sense them coming and all those sorts of things. And Duncan gives Tessa a kiss and they kind of walk off into the sunset, and I believe they actually walk right down this street right here. There's generally a little red cart out here that's in the background of that scene, but I am guessing that's a seasonal thing because I don't know why anybody would want to have a cart out here when it's cold and rainy and gross. But yeah, just one more bonus scene. Smile, honey.